Greetings, everyone. This is Courtney Starhart here today with Finding the Forest, and I have the extraordinary pleasure of getting to meet Mike Murphy, and I'm so excited to share some of his wisdom and his programs with you. Greetings, Mike. How are you?
Good, Courtney. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. So we're going to use our shamanic formula, the medicine wheel, to go through this interview. Usually I do slides, but I think that Mike is so interesting that you wouldn't want to see a slide. You want to see him talking. So we're going to do it without slides this time, but we're going to follow the medicine wheel. So in the East, we do greetings. In the South, we talk about work. In the West, we talk about feelings. And in the North, we talk about our vision. Okay?
Got it.
So greetings in the East, greetings to you and all of your relations, and thank you for the work that you do.
Yes, thank you. And greetings to you and your audience.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited because our audience is growing really quickly. People are thirsty for the information that you have and the work that you're doing. So I'm excited.
Yeah. You know, I think it's a super exciting time to be in physical body in this world today. I think there's a major shift coming on. A lot of people can just look at the world and sense that it's out of control, but people that are going deeper within themselves are seeing the truth exploding, everywhere. Like the Bible says, for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, the truth is there. Now, what are we going to do about it, right? So because it's going to take a bunch of us to shift this consciousness to one that's life-sustaining and deals with freedom and love and family and all these good things that we're capable of human beings, and get rid of these wars and this toxicity and this fake food and all this other stuff that doesn't serve us. So I'm super excited to be in body right now at this time in the ages.
Yeah, it's an amazing time to be alive. And a lot of our oral tradition here in the Southwest talks about the quickening and this time of the people of honey in the heart, the homo luminoso, that we're able to ascend into being something greater than what we really think.
Yeah. Well, there's such a quickening. It's not even funny. This, I don't know where my iPhone is, but this technology that's supposed to make our life easier has just made it so much more difficult. Number one. Number two, all these big banks and all these big corporations are just frustrating us to no end. There is no local businessman to trade with. We're at the mercy of, being on the phone, and you got to go to the internet, and it's just what's supposed to make the world easier is making it so much more difficult. But this quickening, this time is just speeding up, so I can feel it. And so the way I look at it, it's proven that the Earth broadcasts at 7.36 hertz. It's called the Schumann resonance, and that our mind broadcasts the same as Mother Earth. Well, I've seen reports where Mother Earth is now broadcasting at like 30 hertz, right? So I think if that's true, and Mother Earth is vibrating a higher frequency to wake us up, therefore our brains are going, whoa, what's going on? And people are waking up. I think it's time for us to wake up now. I think there's an event coming around the corner that's going to impact everybody on this earth. And if we're not prepared, it's going to be cataclysmic. But if we are prepared, we can transcend it and usher heaven back on the earth and go to a new golden age, which is what I believe is around the corner.
The Satya Yuga, right?
Beg your pardon?
Well, in the Yuga system, there are 4 ages, and I think the golden age is called the Satya Yuga.
Yes,
right?
yes. And I believe that what makes it so golden is it's more feminine energy, which is more nurturing, more loving, more come to me and let me take care of you, hold you. And we're getting away from this masculine energy, which is, penetration and domination and ego and war. And so that mindset, that energy doesn't want to die easily, right? Because it's in control. And so for those types of people, the controlling people, which I used to be one, it's hard for us to surrender and to let go, right? But that's how we thrive. I look at my life today and it's like I threw myself into this lazy river called life and see where it takes me. And it's so much more fun and enjoyable and interesting, because you never know what's around that next bend. And so I love living that way. It's completely different than the way I used to live, but it's so much more fun and rewarding.
I love living that way too. And I don't know. I mean, there's a state of unconflicted consciousness, like unconflicted behavior, where you drop into the heart, right?
Yes.
And then you have this cosmic intelligence. And you don't have to think about what you're going to do. You kind of hold this feeling of love or unity or gratitude.
Yeah.
It's a hard it's hard to pin down a word, right? But that heart consciousness, and then
Yeah.
everything flows from there, right?
Yes. Yeah, because that's who we truly are. See, listen, anybody can program somebody's mind. It's called brainwashing. It's been going on since the beginning of time, and we're programmed when we're born, into these belief systems that are already established here, right? But it's only by moving out of here and into our heart and getting in touch with who we really are. And I believe that the creator of all, a piece of the creator resides inside of us and co-creates our physical reality with us if we will go inside. The illusion is because these eyes are always looking out, we think the answer is out there, when in reality it's by closing these eyes and shutting off this wonderful tool called a mind, which is like a supercomputer, but turning it off and moving into the silence of the heart and connecting to that creator. It's then we know who we are again, and now we're free, and we have the power, and we can access this power to create the physical reality that we truly desire, which is normally not what we think it is, what we're programmed to believe. I hate to think how many people are running around as doctors and lawyers because they were just programmed that that's what they're going to become, and they hate their life, but now they're trapped with student loans and a mortgage and a family of 4 and so on and so forth, but they're not following their heart, and that's why I think there's so much frustration in the world.
That's really interesting that you say that, because I went back to my 25th year high school reunion. I went to this place called Archmere Academy, and Joe Biden went there, and a bunch of other people you probably know. It's one of those Ivy League feeder schools, and it was wonderful, but I was always a little bit different than everyone else. Like, I had all these questions that nobody else was asking. So I go back to my high school reunion, and I'm a traditional medicine person, right? And I live this, I breathe this. This is who I am. And I go back, obviously I'm the only shaman in the class. And so I'm looking at all my buddies and I'm going, so are you happy? And they're like, well, what do you mean happy? I was like, wow, you haven't even asked yourself that question. But they were like these marvelous people, very kind, beautiful, sweet people. But they're doing things, like you said, that they wouldn't have done and that might not have been their highest calling. But then they're stuck in it. So how can we help people develop a new vision so that they're asking the right questions?
Yeah, well, that's it. You got to start asking questions. And so to do that, you got to move out of the head into the heart and get really quiet and grounded to the earth. And then ask the question, I call the creator Heavenly Father in my little mind, but I say, Heavenly Father, why am I here? What is it you want me to do with my life? For a long time I was in a 12-step program, and there's a beautiful surrender prayer in that, where you just, you turn your life and your will over the care of God as you understand him. And then what I do is, from my heart, I create my intention of what I truly want in my physical reality, and then I write it as if it already exists. And this was taught to me by the mystery man way back in the early 80s. And by doing this, I now know what my outcome is. And then by writing it as if it already exists, and then what he taught me to do is to record it and listen every morning, every night. Now you're feeling it. And then therefore it must come into your physical reality, or another plan will show up that it's even better to get you what you truly desire.
Wow. Okay, so we do that actually in our shamanic ceremonies. We do the greetings, work, petition, and thanks. And the magic sauce is saying thank you for your prayers as if they had already happened.
Yes.
So if you go, I want $1 million, then you have to go, I am a millionaire. Thank you for allowing me this abundance. And you have to take on that feeling.
Yes.
And when we're in the sweat lodge, then we all support each other's beautiful visions.
Yes.
So, if Bob over there is talking about his mom getting healthy, we visualize his mom being healthy.
Yes.
And we feel that in our hearts.
Yes.
And then with that unity consciousness, it generates a much stronger field.
Yes.
Well,
and you've probably seen this video. It comes from Greg Braden, and it had to do with a hospital in China where there's, 4, 5, 6 health practitioners sending energy into this person, and they literally shrink a 7-8 centimeter tumor in like 3 or 4 minutes using the power of their mind. And so everybody uses the power of their mind and the power of their emotions to bring everything into the physical reality. This bottle of water in my hand started as a desire, and someone's heart to manufacture this product. Then they used the mind to access a plan, and now it's sitting here in my hand. Everything that comes into physical reality starts as a thought, and then depending on the emotion that you link to it, it determines the speed on how it comes into your physical reality. And what you mentioned is, you know, a group consciousness, you know, even helps that even more, you know, and it's, I really believe there's 7.3 billion people here, they say. And I believe that if we all got together and we harnessed the power of our thoughts and just focused on love and peace and joy, suffering would cease to exist immediately. That's how powerful we truly are. The problem is we're all, you know, whoever runs this system is, you know, it's all divide and conquer, right? You know, Jews versus Christians, Christians versus Muslims, gay versus straight, black versus white, on and on, left versus right, Democrats, Republicans, Clinton, Trump. Holy moly. No, we're all human. We're one family. We're a human family. And if we would stop all this nonsense and realize that we're all in this together, we're destroying the world, the physical world. We're destroying Mother Earth. The oceans are full of plastics. We're spraying stuff out of everywhere. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, honey, just grab. He has something for me. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. And this we hadn't planned this interview today, so my apologies. But so let's get united. Sure, there's differences, okay, but they're very minute differences. You know, 99% of us is identical, and we have these different belief systems, which is just, you know, BS, right? Belief system BS, until we question them. Once we question them, then we can get free of them, and then we can focus on unity and serving one another. And you know, you're there in New Mexico with all this beautiful ancient history of these beautiful Native American people that understood this, right? They were one with the land, they were one with the animals, they were one with one another. And instead of indoctrinating their children in these little classrooms, okay, and make them sit there with good little soldiers, memorize and then regurgitate and then forget. No, they really taught their children about Mother Nature. They taught their children about the animals. They taught them about relationships with the opposite sex. The actually real teaching, this is what we need. And we need to get away from all this programming that doesn't serve us. It serves them, you know, because we watch this big thing on the wall here, and you know, it's 12 minutes of fear and then 2 minutes of selling us stuff to get us out of that state of fear. And so we all run down and buy a Whopper, and now we're all obese, and now we got to go over here and get this diabetes medicine, and now we have these other 20 side effects, and it's this never-ending failure loop, right? When all we got to do is turn that off, get with one another and say, hey, how can I serve you? How can I make your life a little bit better? And therefore my life becomes better, because there is karma in this world.
Absolutely. And I really believe that we're all one on some level. You know,
absolutely.
In the spirit world, we see this interconnected fractal web of consciousness, and you see these ties between people, these energetic ties, and you realize, oh my God, we're all connected. Like, it's no accident that we're sitting here together in this ceremony. It's all kind of divinely orchestrated. But by what? You know, so you started talking about something super exciting, and it's a big passion. Like, how do we generate this physical reality? You know, Greg Braden is talking about the feminine matrix, and the quantum physics of everything is that like 99.9% of the universe is not empty space. It's consciousness.
Right.
So how do we tap into that through your work? I love the creation frequency. So is now a good time to
yes.
put that on people?
Absolutely.
How did you come up with this? The mystery man, your life was a wreck, right?
Yeah.
And so you went and how'd you find the mystery man?
Well, I got lucky. I ended up so I was a total loser as a kid, okay? And so, you know, kicked out of, you know, 4 or 5 different schools, run away all the time, thrown in juvenile hall quite a few times, lots of automobile accidents, just an insane kid, rebellious, insane kid, because I'll tell you why. Because in my heart, I'll never forget this. I was in the 9th grade, and I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they were busing me to some Jesuit school across town, all boys. And it was an evening, and I went up to the neighbor's house, and all the kids were on this trampoline, and everybody was happy. And I'm just leaning against a tree going, something is not right here. Now, I grew up in an alcoholic home and all that drama, so on and so forth. But
The
What's
baby
that?
picture with a cigarette and the beer.
Yeah. Exactly. And so you saw that picture somewhere. So, anyways, and so I just knew something was wrong, and so. And a few weeks later, I find myself on a bus in downtown Cincinnati, headed for Lexington, Kentucky, with $4 in my pocket as a 14-year-old freshman in high school, and started hitchhiking. And so that created this pattern of running away, rebelling, and trying to find the truth, right? And in not a very mature way, with a lot of really bad belief systems. And so, long story short, I ended up at age 23. I abandoned my wife and my 2-month-old baby daughter because I looked in the mirror and I was such a loser. I didn't have a job. We were living with her parents and her 5 siblings and our brand new baby, and we're both 23 years old. And I looked in the mirror and I go, dude, you are a total loser, which frankly didn't bother me that much. What bothered me is everybody in that house knew I was a loser. And so that led to humiliation, and humiliation led to my pattern of running away. So I take off, I throw my clothes, we're Sunday afternoon in front of everybody in the family. I throw my clothes in a car that I don't even own, it's one of theirs, and I take off. And I go and I party for a week and I forget my problems. And a week later, I call her up and say, okay, hey, I'm ready to come home now. She goes, no, sorry, I'm not your parents. I don't need to take you back, right? So fast forward a couple of years later, by the grace of God, I find myself in a 12-step program for drug addiction. And the guy says to me, your life is a real mess. And when a guy in a 12-step program tells you your life is a mess, believe me, it's messy. And so, but it was really my belief system that was screwed up. And so he introduced me to a guy whose name is Doug Fitzgerald. But when I went to write my first book, I couldn't remember his name, so I called him the Mystery Man. And so he taught me how the universe really works in this law of attraction field. And he taught it in a way I've never seen taught. I've read so many books on law of attraction, manifesting your intentions, listened to it all, so on and so forth. So each day he goes, listen, Mike, you come here 1 hour a week for 7 weeks, you'll get everything you truly desire. Shows up first week. What is it you truly desire? Well, I've been divorced for a couple of years now. My daughter's now 2.5. I want to be reconciled with my wife and daughter. I don't want somebody else raising my daughter. So we write this intention. Imagine this. This woman hates me, deservedly so. I see my daughter 1 night a week, and I write this intention. Lisa and I are so happily married. Our daughter, Michelle, thrives in this marriage. We are so blessed to have this beautiful family. Right? I write this intention as if it already exists. Okay. Then the next week, what else you want? I want to own my own business. What else you want? I want to make $10,000 a month. What else you want? I want to own my own house. What else you want? I want to run a marathon. What else you want? I want to build a boys' home for kids that are screwed up. Boom, 6 intentions. Week 7 comes along. Now, right now, I'm up $350 after, because it was $50 a week. This is 1982. That's about $1,200 today. And I don't have 50 cents, but somehow I'm manifesting this to keep going. So at the end of 6 weeks, we have 6 intentions, just 1 or 2 paragraphs written on a piece of paper. And he brings out a boom box. So I'm really dating myself. So for some of you people, that's a big thing we used to listen to music on. And he puts in this white cassette tape with theta brainwave music. Then over here, he hands me a cassette player with a microphone, and he goes, okay, and he hands me a relaxation script. He goes, I'm going to hit record. When I do, I want you to read this relaxation script. It's going to put you in this self-hypnotic trance while the theta brainwave music plays. So you're going to be very receptive to penetrating the conscious mind, getting into the subconscious mind, where we can reprogram it to serve you instead of destroy you. At the same time, we're going to write these intentions, and so we're going to tell your mind, your subconscious mind, what to look for. I mentioned to you before we started recording that right now, everybody's subconscious mind is taking in 1 million bits of information every second. 1 million bits of information every second. Then delivers to our conscious mind only 40 bits out of 1 million every second. How does it determine the 40? Based on what it thinks we want, and it doesn't judge, okay? If we're feeding it negative stuff, it's going to give us negative stuff. It does not judge. It's going to give you what it thinks you desire based on your self-talk, based on what you tell other people, based on what you watch on television, based on what you read, based on what you feel. So that's how powerful the subconscious mind is. It's a supercomputer. So, but when we tell it what we want, now it's going to start looking for that stuff. And now the right person for my funding for my business shows up. The right opportunity to buy my own house with no money down shows up. Eventually, even my wife that hates my gut calls me up and asks me out on a date, and we get remarried. This is how powerful this stuff is, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm telling it. And by the way, you're already doing this. You're already telling your subconscious mind what you want by your activity, where you spend your money, what you're doing, and it's giving, it's delivering. You've created your life. So quit bitching about it and quit being a victim, because guess what? We're either all victims or none of us are victims. So pick your poison, right? The truth is you have the power, okay? The problem is they program us to believe stuff that's not true. For example, you're born a sinner. How can you be born a sinner? Think about it. Please just think about it. I get the concept. I get all this. It's a way to control you, control your mind. You're not a sinner. You're all powerful. The fact I believe that the creator of all this, it has a piece of him or her or it inside of us. The co-creator resides in here. So that's why we have to close our eyes, turn off our mind, and go deep inside our heart and our soul, and then we can find the truth. Sorry, I started ranting and raving there.
Wow, I mean, that was one of the most powerful speeches I've heard in a long time. Like, bravo.
I'm sorry. I get going a little early sometimes.
No, I mean, but being a medicine person and having been trained by the best, I've gotten these types of speeches from my elder again and again. And then, as if I didn't believe him, then you go into the medicine world, into the spirit world with the peyote, the ayahuasca. With drum journeys too, we can go into the spirit world. You get to where you can just close your eyes and you can shift your consciousness, and everything you're saying is true. Everything you're saying is true. The shaman kings, the shaman priests, they all knew that. The Hopis, I mean, they could see into the future. They could move through space and time because there's this boundless place called the spirit world, right?
Yes. Hey, why does the CIA go to Stanford Research Institute and have people do remote viewing all day and tell them what's going on in Russia? Because, and how can I take my phone and pick it up and talk to someone in China, or be on an airplane 30,000 feet in the air and download a freaking book? Okay. It's energy, it's vibration, it's frequency. Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, that's it. Understand that. If you want to understand yourself, that's it. Understand yourself. We can communicate. How many times have you thought of somebody in your mind and 2 minutes later they call you on the telephone, right? Because we are all connected, because I'll tell you why. It's not empty space. What looks like empty space is energy. Okay, Tesla called it plasma. The Chinese call it chi. The Indians call it prana. I don't know what the American Indians call it, but I'm sure they call it spirit, great spirit, right? That's what's going on in here. So just jump on one of these great spirit frequencies, okay, and access the cloud, okay? So we have a Google cloud, but there was a cloud before that. You know, I'm told this. I don't know if it's true. I haven't verified it, but you could go to India. Deepak Chopra says that he did this, and he went into one of these little places where his entire life was written down on bamboo thousands of years before he was born, because they grabbed it out of the cloud and they wrote his life. So he says he did it. I don't know, but it makes sense to me that having had these intentions with the mystery man, how the plan would just show up. For example, one of my intentions, now keep in mind, I'm a 24-year-old guy. I got no education. I got no credit but bad credit. I have no money. I have nothing. And I want to own my own business. And I've been working in the restaurant business, so it's natural I want to own a restaurant. So I'm actually sleeping on a couch in my parents' house because I have no place to go. I have no money. I have nothing. But a mile down the road, there was a restaurant that had 3 people had failed in it, and it had to do with chicken. And I used to work for Foster Farms Chicken. And so I go, okay, I'm going to open this restaurant here. How? I mean, I couldn't even get the lease on the premises, right? An idea pops into my mind. Put an ad in the newspaper, raise the money. I put an ad in the newspaper. I raise the money. I buy the restaurant. I go to the landlord. I go, hey, you know what? You have no business giving me a lease, but here's my vision. Here's my dream. And help me out. And he does. And so a big major shopping center guy gives me a lease. Like nobody would do that in today's world, for sure. And so, but I was able to manifest this restaurant. And so, you know, I only had it for a year and I sold it, but guess what I found out about myself? I could manifest anything. So now I start selling cars because there's more money in cars. I tell my office mate, I'm going to have my own dealership in a few years, at which he laughs at me. And a few years later, I have my own dealership because I understand how this works. That if, you know, the old saying, you know, Wayne Dyer wrote a book, once you believe it, then you'll see it, right? You know, because you got to see it in here. You got to see it in here. You have to feel it in here, and then it will come into your physical reality. Everything works this way.
help me visualize an eco center in New Mexico where we can teach people about the overlap between traditional shamanism, quantum physics, your work. We could we could do amazing things. I just
And it goes just like this, Courtney. Courtney, it goes just like this. I love how I have this amazing eco center in New Mexico. I love how people are coming from all over the world to be served by this amazing staff that we have. I love how they leave here totally transformed with a heart full of love, a mind full of ideas to go out and to make this world a better place for each and every one. Write it down, record it, listen every morning, every night. It must show up.
Do you want to know something funny? Is I've been using your creation frequency app for 6 months. I recommend it to all of my clients. Okay. I actually try to force them. Like I will say, get out your phone now, look up Mike Murphy creation frequency app and download it. It's free. Okay. It's like liquid candy, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
even, and I tell them, look, you don't have to believe what I'm saying that this works.
yeah,
Why? You don't have to believe what I'm saying, but wouldn't it just be nice to listen to positive self-talk every day over and over? I mean,
yeah.
it's wonderful,
But
but
it's interesting.
it works
So
that
one of the complaints I get, it's too stressful. And so and that's just a programming belief system that somebody has to break free of, right? Because we're set up like, first of all, we live in a microwave generation, right? If I'm going to stick this food in here, of course, it's going to ruin the food and the nutrition, but it's going to be hot so I can eat it. Okay. So we want everything now. Well, nature doesn't work like that. Manifestation doesn't work like that. If we want an oak tree, we got to go out and we got to plant the seed in the ground, and we're going to wait a few years for that oak tree to come out of the ground, right? That's how the nature works. Same with this manifestation. Now, here's a little secret. The highest vibrational frequency is love. So if my desire, so you're what you're trying to create there in New Mexico is coming from this powerful sense of love and service and compassion and wanting to make the world a better place. So the more you can link that into your intention, the faster it's going to come through to you, because that's the highest vibrational frequency. So speed, it's going to come quicker. And it's just really, really, once you get the hang of it, but it's not easy in the beginning. I found this great nutritional supplement, and I was talking to this really brilliant, natural healer. And he goes, Mike, I love it. I'd love to be a part of it. But guess what? Most people don't care enough about themselves. So we put all this garbage into our body and it creates all this havoc. And then we go, oh, what happened? Right? We don't want to take responsibility for our decisions. Well, the same thing with this manifestation. Once you know that you have this power and ability, there's a responsibility comes with that, right? And so we don't want to be held accountable. Well, guess what? So, and why is that? Well, here's what they teach us. First there was this big random big bang accident, okay? And now, you have trillions of these planets and solar systems, and it's expanding at the speed of light faster. Well, maybe if that's not true, maybe Earth is the center of the universe. Maybe there is a creator. Maybe everything is being monitored and judged here. And maybe someday we are going to answer for what we did with this gift of life that was given to us. I just read this article the other day. This kid, he's 23 or 24 or 28, I can't remember. But he's suing his parents for giving him life and then not taking care of him for his entire life, So, but this is the mindset that's creeping into the world today is, hey, I didn't ask to be born. You guys did this thing and now I'm here. So, hey, you got to take care of me. Instead of saying, oh my God, I've been giving, I beat a trillion other sperm to this egg. And now here I am. Okay. I've already won the biggest race of my life. And now here I am. And like we were talking before, I get to taste chocolate and have sex and orgasms. And, sure. Is life hard at times? Heck yes, it's hard. But most of it, I create myself. If I get out of my own way and let life roll, it rolls pretty good, and so it's really most of my problems I create.
Well, so, okay. I actually wrote a blog post about zombie sub programs when I was out at Talk Radio NYC, right?
Hmm.
And they interviewed you there. I watched the interview and I was like, man, that is the best thing I have ever heard. Like, okay, so when we do this frog medicine, it tends to peel back the layers, right, of the stuff that we've buried. I tell people, we bury aspects of ourselves underneath the living room carpet. Then before you know it, you're rearranging your furniture to, cover up those bodies that you've buried. Then before you know it, your furniture doesn't make any sense. You're swinging like a monkey from the ceiling in your own living room, and you're going, what the fuck? Why am I feeling so crazy? But you're feeling crazy because you have no control of your life. But I never had a word for that thing that you bury. So zombie subprograms. Can you enlighten us? I love that term.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what context I was speaking to about that, but it's, for me, it comes down to authenticity and vulnerability, because, especially being a male in this society, what are we taught early on? We're not supposed to feel. That's our freaking compass. Okay. If I rely on this insane thing here, I'm just going to go around in circles like you just described, and monkey freeing from the chandelier, right?
Yep.
But because here's what I know. I'll get a thought, right? And if it leads to a bad feeling, then I create an action, drinking, gambling, promiscuity, whatever, to get rid of this bad feeling, which creates a bad destiny. But if I have a thought and it creates a good feeling, okay, a good feeling is for my higher self, not my lower self, but for my higher self, then that's going to create something very positive in the world, not only for myself, but for my family and then for others in my community. And this is what we have to focus on. How does this make me feel? For example, and listen, I'm no saint, okay? I have all the struggles everybody else has. Life can really, we have to guard our heart and our mind, and we got to guard ourselves. It's dangerous out here. And so I'm not talking down to anybody. I'm in the same boat, the same game. I have the same issues everybody else has, okay? I've just been blessed to learn technologies to work around them, to continue to grow and evolve. And I think that's what really fulfills us the most. But with that said, sometimes it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, right? So sometimes life is like that. Sometimes life is messy. But it's really about embracing our truth and it's about having integrity. We wear so many masks. I have Mike the businessman mask. I have Mike the father mask. I have Mike the grandfather mask. Mike the relationship mask. Mike the guy on this camera mask, right? I think the trick is to get an integrity of who we are and to live that as much of the time as we can, understanding that not everybody's going to like what we have to say. We're going to offend people over here, but at least we're going to be true to ourselves and admit when we make a mistake. I've had many belief systems that are now on the cutting room floor, if you will, because I've learned and I've grown and I've seen how things work, right? And I think part of the problem today is we trust science, but science is sometimes bullshitting behind mathematical equations that really aren't practical. I think if we go to common sense and we trust our feeling and we trust our experience, we trust our own reality, and we build our life around that, then we'll be true to ourselves.
So, wow, there's so many things here that I want to touch on. So talking about your work, okay, you've got this book called The Creation Frequency, which really, really, I fell in love with that book because, like you said, you've read so many books on how to manifest. Like I even wrote a book about, interviewing people from What the Bleep Do We Know, all these scientists, but none of them could really express what you expressed in your book. I also like the fact that you took the creation frequency that the mystery man gave you and that you made it into an app. So the guy combined binaural beats, right, which implanted this message in your subconscious. Right. It got rid of the zombie sub-programs, right? All those limiting beliefs and the lies and all of that we've been programmed with. I mean, we've all been programmed with this stuff before we could even argue. You're a tiny little baby. Already you're a sinner. You're destined to live in this machine, in this matrix that it doesn't make any sense. It's a cluster. It's self-destructive. It's ridiculous as heck. And you got to take all of those zombie sub-programs out and you got to plant the right stuff in there.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a tall order. But if you have this app, you can actually go through. And you've done us the courtesy of outlining some categories. What are these categories?
Well, yeah. So I think I'm getting a little feedback. Can you hear it?
You sound great.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
This might annoy
It
me a
might
little
annoy
bit,
me a
but
little
I'll
bit,
try
but I'll
to
try.
concentrate. Uh, you hit a button on with your right hand there, and so now it's gone away. Okay, we're good. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so I think it's really important that we have balance in our life, right? And so, you know, you have a family, and you know, depending, and here's the thing, we're always manifesting different things, right? When we were a child, first thing we manifest to do is get someone to change us and feed us. And then we manifest the ability to crawl and then walk and then talk and then get along with others in the sandbox and social situations. So we're always manifesting new ways of life based on experience. I just want to teach people to do it consciously and realize that we're 10, 50, 100, a million times more powerful than they give us credit for it, and that we can really affect things and really create a beautiful life for us and our family. So balance, right? And so I have this family life that's very important, but then I have a business life. I have to create revenue in this system. You have to have money to raise this family. I have to have my physical health. You know, I always say, you know, if Jesus had come here and he weighed 500 pounds, he never would have gotten off the couch. He'd still be sitting there, you know, eating junk food, watching Jerry Springer, and we never would have gotten the good news. So we have to take care of this physical body. We have to have energy to get out there and make things happen. And then I really believe contribution is a large part of making us fulfilled, feel fulfilled with our lives and our purpose. So we break it into all these little categories. And then I say, hey, let's write a powerful intention for each category of your life. You know, let's say that, you know, career-wise, I'm very frustrated. I'd say I'm waiting tables, and I really want to be this great pianist or this great artist. So I write an intention of what that looks, what's the outcome. When I'm this great pianist, you know, I write, say, I love how I've gotten so amazing playing this piano, and that how people come from all over the world to my concerts and to hear me and to see me and then buy my music and take it home with them with their heart filled with love and peace and beauty. So we write this intention, right? And then we record it and we listen. Something better is going to come along. I don't know if you're going to end up playing in Carnegie Hall. Okay, maybe you don't have that skill set, but something is going to shift, and you're going to stop being a waiter and you're going to be in music doing something that fulfills you and serves you and therefore serves the world. And that's what will happen, I promise. You know, for example, I'm 61 years old. If I write an intention that I'm going to replace Tom Brady next year and play quarterback for the New England Patriots, guess what? That's never going to pierce my conscious mind. Even if it's possible, it's never going to get into the subconscious mind where the power really is, right? So, but what will happen is I could say, okay, that's not too practical. I can't buy that. Okay. Even though it might be possible in some level. Okay. I'm not buying it, but maybe I can be a quarterback coach. Maybe I can start, you know, being the assistant and learn how to call plays and get out of this that I don't want to be doing and get over here where I do want to be. Right. So, that's the way I look at it. Because what I don't like is the manifestation teachers, law of attraction people, where they say anything is possible. Okay, and basically anything's possible, and you can do it from anywhere in the world. So just go sit on this beach, see yourself as a billionaire, and it'll happen. No, you know, I think it's John Azaroff that talks about, you know, the law of get off your ass and go to work attraction. Okay, you know, because and so the way I like to view it is, you know, yes, there's work involved. Just writing that intention, it takes enormous amount of work. Turning off this and going into the heart and figuring out what you truly want takes an enormous amount of work, you know, and that's what I want to encourage people to do that work, then see that vision and then write that intention. And then I teach people how to monitor it every day by just a simple little journaling where I start with gratitude. So in my journal, just say, you know, Heavenly Father, thank you for this. Thank you for my wife, my kids, my business, this. Thank you, gratitude. Now here's the magic. Now please give me wisdom on how to deal with this. Should I fire this person? What can I do with this person? What should I do with this relationship over here? How can I manifest money to build this healing center in Colombia, right? So then I get this wisdom. I put the questions out there. Now I've accessed the creator of all and any other kind angels that want to serve me or any spirit guides that are guiding me are going to bring, like, you know, the thought to put an ad in the newspaper to raise money to open a restaurant, right? Where'd that come from? Do I take responsibility for that? I don't think I can, because it wasn't there and then it was. I don't think I created it. It just showed up. And that's the magic of tying into all this energy, this plasma energy, this chi, this prana that we're all connected to, boom, and by putting that out there, the right people show up.
That's
I
amazing.
hope I answered that okay. I know I go to a little fragmented at times.
No, it's actually really quite amazing. I mean, you're touching on so many things that I would ask about. I feel like we're sharing a mind or something. You know, as soon as I have this thought, oh, what about? And then you launch into it. So it's amazing. Um, so we've talked about the East, your vision and your background. We've talked about the South a little bit, your work. Um, we've talked about the West. Actually, you touched on feelings and how things are generated. Um, would you mind talking a little bit about the ayahuasca retreat?
Yes.
I'm so fascinated.
Yeah. So, well, you know about ayahuasca and the power of it, and it's just I'll share my experience with it. So, what's interesting about the plant medicine, in my opinion, is that um, about 2011, I lost my wife after a 9-year battle with breast cancer, and it really changed everything. And so I started this nonprofit, and then I decided to write a book, and I just changed the whole direction of my life from a car dealer to somebody that wants to serve others. And but the medicine kept showing up. Like this guy would say, hey, have you heard about ayahuasca? And this guy say, hey, have you tried ayahuasca? Somebody say, hey, we're doing ayahuasca ceremony. Would you like to come? It kept showing up, showing up, showing up. And finally, the right person that I respected a great deal at the right time invited me to a weekend ceremony in California somewhere. And I said yes. And I showed up. Now, in my typical cocky, arrogant self, okay, I didn't follow any of the directions they said to prepare for this experience, okay? I do not suggest this unless you want to spend 6-8 hours in hell. And so my first 2 experiences was a Friday and a Saturday night, 6 to 8 hours, pure hell, different hell. First night was a physical hell because I didn't eat right and prepare my body, okay? But what I was experiencing is how I experienced the most amazing love of my entire existence. And at the same time, while suffering over here outside the room where the actual ceremony is taking place, almost dying over here, I was still connected to everybody in that room and on their journey. It was just mind blowing. The next night, okay, is because of my arrogance again, is I got stuck in an ego trip, and where I was never going to come back from that. Again, the most amazing love, the most amazing weekend of my life. So what I learned to do is prepare for these ceremonies now, and now I get so much more out of them as far as guiding me on what I need to improve in myself, in my own being, my own belief systems, or any habits I need to change to better serve myself and my system and my environment, and how to go forward to create what I'm trying to create in a life. And now, so I come out of the ceremonies just so energized and enlivened and excited to go forward. So we do the ceremonies at our retreat center in Colombia and Medellin. So ayahuasca is primarily a South American plant, and it's been brought to the north by the Indians there in the South. And so it's just an amazing journey. And what I've found for me is that it's going to give me what I need, if like I needed that physical purging, because great healing came after that. And so I need that psychological breakdown because great healing and peace came after that. So the medicine knows how to deal with our different energies, whether it's the chakras or the physical, right? Or the mental or the emotional, and take us to the edge, have it dissolve, and bring back a new creature that's healed. It's about healing, and that's the beauty of it.
My elder constantly tells people when I get the opportunity, I'll have Patricio, do a teaching for our community, and before we go into our ayahuasca ceremony and the combo and everything. And one of the things he said last time that cracked me up was, I hope you like whoever you find out there in the great beyond, because you're not coming back.
Yeah.
People were so freaked out. They're like, what do you mean, man? And he's like, you're going to come back as a different version of you. And it's going to be the version that grandmother wants to embody here. So
Yeah.
you're into a collaboration, a co-creation
Yeah.
with cosmic intelligence.
Yeah.
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 You're volunteering to sacrifice what you used to be something better.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Can I add something to that real quick? Because
Yeah, yeah.
I have a radio show now. It's on Transformation Talk Radio, so anybody can find it there, and it's archived there. But so tomorrow we're having on the show, no, excuse me, in 2 weeks, I think, a guy named Jerry Powell that runs this amazing place called Rhythmia in Costa Rica. But Jerry started with Iboga, which is grandfather. And so because of that experience, he said that the medicine, it's a 12-hour journey instead of 6, and the medicine took him to the moon. And he wrote a book of what the moon told me. Okay. And so that's how powerful, but it's kind of comical, but not really, because it healed this man of this great, powerful addictions that he had here, changed his entire life, that he's now in Costa Rica, serving hundreds of people every month and healing them with ayahuasca. And it's just interesting how, the Bible says that everything we need to heal is already here in the plant world. And so these medicines are just so powerful and amazing.
They are amazing. And it defies all logic. It takes you into that quantum field of infinite possibilities, right?
Exactly.
And reweaves the tapestry threads for you. I think I saw an interview with that guy that he said that he literally saw the moon, and he went to the moon and saw his entire life and the earth from the moon's perspective, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of blown away by that, because I'm like, well, gosh, that's really simple, but very transformational.
Yeah.
And very thinking outside of the box that we're put in, that square box that's so limiting, that you are how much you earn, that you are your car, that you are your body. We are some of that, but we're none of that at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was so powerful for him that it, like, just for me, I had this experience that totally broke every belief system down. So there was nothing left. And now you can start anew. And that's what's happened to him. He had a bunch of serious problems in his life. He's now healed, and now he's healing others. And this is our mission, is to heal those wounds. We all have childhood wounds. We have wounds as adult, and we need to heal those and then use those to serve others that are going through the same suffering, because we can transcend it anytime we desire.
Well, so that's like such a smooth transition into the North. And can I say what a pleasure it is dancing through this interview with you?
It's been my pleasure, for sure.
Sharing the same mind is also perfect. The vision of the 100 monkeys tipping the cosmic scales with consciousness. Do you think that we can do that?
Without a doubt, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to take people like you that are putting themselves out there with their truth and their beauty and their love and their compassion, and touching hearts and lives and souls. I'm doing it in my little world. You're doing it in your little world, and people all over the world are doing their little worlds. It's like, these multi-level marketing companies, they say, at some point you hit momentum, and you get the hockey stick. And so right now, our hockey stick is like this. And now, but once enough people get on this page that, it's not all about getting stuff and material stuff. And it's about service to those that are less fortunate. My favorite thing I like to say is there's 7.3 billion. So if half of us, would lift up one person less fortunate than ourselves, the whole thing shifts. Consciousness shifts that day. Evil dissipates, suffering dissipates, and we're one in humanity. Now, can we get there? Yes. Is it going to take some really difficult event? Probably. Whether it's a global debt default or, some sort of huge natural event, I don't know. I think it's happened before. The more I start studying history and seeing what's happened in the past, I don't think this is new, and I think it's necessary. It's kind of a cleansing, to kind of like the purging of the medicine, right? It's nothing like sitting on the toilet with a bucket in your hand while you're throwing up, okay, and then getting up 15 minutes later and hearing a voice, which happened to me, is, you are now healed. And so that's what we all need to hear, those words, that we're healed, and that we're one, and we're a community, and we're about love and service, compassion, forgiveness, sharing. Okay. We got to get the greed in the world. Why does this person need to be a trillionaire when there's millions of people suffering, going to bed, starving to death? So we just need it. It's funny. there's so many systems. Everything's a system. We're born into a medical system. We're placed into a family system, and then an educational system, a religious system, and then a financial system, a political system. And what do we want? Freedom. And I think someone like you, don't know, but I'd speculate as a little girl, you knew there was something wrong here. Something was amiss. I know that I did as a small child. I knew that something was wrong.
Yeah,
right. Something was wrong.
Everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but then what do? Okay, eventually, because of the programming and peer pressure, we go along to get along, right? And now we start living the life that we sensed was wrong, and we get stuck. Yeah, and I find myself stuck with a wife and all these little kids, and I'm selling cars. Well, I had no choice. It wasn't really what I was intended to do. But since I was stuck there, I said, okay, well, I'm going to become the best car salesman I can become. And then I'm going to get my own business. And then I have freedom to serve not only my family, but to serve others. And that's what we all need to do, is to say, I can only eat so much. I can only drink so much. Now I'll take the excess and I'll use it to help others. And that's what we do with our nonprofit foundation. That's what we're trying to build in Colombia, where people that can go to reprogram themselves, re-energize themselves, detoxify themselves, and get strong, happy, healthy, and go out and create a beautiful life.
I can truly feel myself in that eco center now. And as you're saying that, that's the exact vision I had. The reason why I got popped out of that paradigm, where I was, I had a business contract, I was a consultant, I worked for the government, I made a lot of money, but I was miserable. I popped out of that because I got sick. I got E. coli poisoning. And I was on the brink of death for several years as my body was just kind of melting from the inside out. It was really gross. But I got this vision of a future possibility, like this beautiful world. I kept on going in this delusional kind of dream state to this eco center, and people were so beautiful. It was the quality of their heart, the joy and the sparkle in their eyes, and the sound of the birds, and the smell of all of the plants, and the huge starry sky at night. And we were all together like an ashram, but there was no religion, there was no dogma. The tradition was about love and about the beauty way and about, a collective, like a hive mind. And so in this dream time, I even got a visit from beings from another dimension or consciousness. And they tried to explain to me that the next stage in our development as humans would be to be more like them, that they acknowledge that they're truly one in that namaste type of way, that when we're in that, in the flow or in the vortex of love, that we're one.
Yeah.
But people need to have the experience. I really admire your work because it resonates with that heavenly place that I would go to. People need to have the physical experience, because you can intellectualize it, talk about sustainability, economics, all of that, but it's a visceral experience, right?
Yes.
And you feel that when you're in that type of place, that love is real, and that anything is possible.
Yes, without a doubt. And so that's why we all got to get together, and just share. I think we're missing community, especially now with the social media. Everybody's looking at their phone. I was in China a couple of years ago, and just everybody walking off that plane, they're just boom, boom, boom. I mean, or they're waiting for the next plane, and they got their laptop and their phone, and they're all charged into energy, and boom, boom, boom. And because of this lousy blue light that I'm looking at right now, they all got glasses on because this is ruining our eyesight, and so on and so forth. So it's just really, we just got to come together, and what you're doing and what I'm doing and what hundreds and thousands of other people, if not millions, are doing, all parts of the world, eventually we'll start growing together and creating bigger communities, and to make a better world, to limit what drives me crazy is these children that are suffering, and and it's all over the world, and that's really what drives me, I think, the most. And then I work with women with cancer, and they're financially poor women, so they're at the mercy of the system. And it's a really broken system, and it's not serving them, and they're not getting better. They get sicker and die. And I call it torture and murder for profit. And because that's what I see. And I hate to be so cruel. And it's not saying that the doctors are bad. The system is corrupt. Okay. And that's what has to change. The people are okay. It's the system and so we need a new system based on love and service and compassion and in a community where we teach our kids. I mean, what's the most important thing, is growing up, finding the right person and getting married. Does anybody ever really teach us that? Okay. No, they teach us algebra and geometry and English. Okay. And they're not really teaching us. They're just giving us stuff to memorize and then regurgitate. Do they ever really teach us about money and fiat currency and how it really works and compound interest, how it works against us or for us? These practical things that really we need as adults, no one teaches us. They're teaching us how to be good little workers so we can become good little taxpayers so that they can keep their system going. And it's not working.
Wow. So many things that I would talk about. But our time is almost up, and I want to make sure that we talk about the things that you're doing. I do want to add, before I forget, we have a lot of traditional technology for dealing with cancer. So, and we do serve that community, and I'm excited that we're able to present our traditional shamanic healing techniques to people who are in poverty, who are sick.
Yes.
Otherwise they would have no other remedy.
Amen.
Also, thank you for doing that. For taking care of the women.
Yeah.
So, okay, where can we find more about you? Where can we find you again? Your radio.
So my website is MikeMurphyUnfiltered.com. So you can see what I'm doing there. The radio show is there. All my other businesses are there. In addition, we have the Creation Frequency. We have a book. We have an online course. We also sell an online course. It's about 7 hours to complete. It goes really, really deep into the science. It'll really help you to strengthen your belief system that the law of attraction is real and really works. So I encourage people to get that. They can find that at Mike Murphy Unfiltered. We also have the creationfrequency.com. And I want to give something to your listeners. So I'm going to do this. My guy that runs my business is going to get upset with me, but we'll get over it. So if anybody, we sell the course for $397. If anybody goes to Amazon and they just buy the book, The Creation Frequency, it's like $10, $11, or the Kindle version, $8.99. They buy it and then they send the receipt, proof of purchase, to special offer at thecreationfrequency.com. We'll give them the course for free. That's how I want people. And if they want to donate, we encourage people. So when people do buy the course for $397, we donate $200 to the Love for Margot Foundation, which is our nonprofit that works with these women. We also have the Margot Community Center, where we work with juvenile delinquent kids, foster care kids. We're Apple certified. We teach them all the Apple technology. We've created a sound system where we teach them how to make music, how to make videos. And more importantly, we have a car dealership across the street. We bring over a technician. We teach them how to work on cars. We teach them how to sell cars. We teach them how to interview. We teach them how to go out into the world and get jobs. And so we're doing all that through our Love for Margot Foundation. So if people want to donate to that, we're giving you this $397 gift. If you want to make a donation, we'd greatly appreciate it. And also the app is free, as you've already said, at iTunes or Google Play. So between the book, so for $10, $11, you get the book, the course, the app. You will create a better life, I promise you that. If you just follow the simple directions like I did, the mystery man taught me, I took it, I listened, I followed the simple directions, I created the most wonderful life. And so I'm forever grateful for him and for teaching me this. And I hope that your listeners will go there and take advantage of this.
I will personally vouch for the more beautiful world that I've been able to create with Creation Frequency. And I don't back many people's work. I'm very fussy. And I guarantee that it works. It's really amazing. So
thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that.
It
makes that, well, you just said, makes all the hard work and money I've spent worth it. So thank you.
Yeah, I hope everybody takes advantage of it. I did. I'll vouch for that too. I bought the book. I sent you guys a receipt and I got the course for free.
Oh, awesome.
I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That makes my day.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We're going to say goodbye to Mike Murphy for now. Can't wait to see you again. And thank you to all of the listeners. Bye for now.